What you eating? Chili?
I am eating homemade chili, even though it does not help me get to my macros because I need carbs. While I have bread. It is warm and it is cold and rainy, and I am cold and rained on. So I need something to warm me up.
Yeah. He says wearing a tank top.
A bucket hat.
There you go. That'll keep the rain off you. That's what it's for. Oh, so what's new? What's happening? We have topics to talk about today.
We do, and I need to write my topics down.
So there's one that I wanted to start with because it's the one that I thought of, and that is men's physique as a category on a whole. And I would like to don't laugh. And I just want to give a little like I'm a men's physique athlete. I don't dislike men's physique. I just prefer other categories, and I've noticed something about men's physique and how it's very similar to bikini in certain ways. That being, anyways, we're gonna get to that. I said there was like 5 types of men's physique athletes on the amateur level.
You did.
You just play with the lights.
I just want to see what looks better.
Fair enough. It's okay. It's a work in progress. But yeah, I think I only counted like in my head while I was at the gym.
Like 4.
I think I only counted out 4 types of people who do men's physique. And and I'm gonna list them off for you. Here they are. The first type is guys that don't train legs but still want to be bodybuilders. That's the obvious one.
We like those people.
Yeah. And I would like to let everyone know that I still have respect for people who work hard to compete in men's physique. Me being one of those people who still is doing men's physique.
No matter what category
I just like to roast.
It's not easy. No matter what category you're doing, it's not easy.
No, absolutely not. You are working hard. If you show up to the show, unless you show up to the show and you just did nothing the entire prep, we know you worked hard.
You told me about that. You told me there was a guy who showed up who did not prep at all. When he was like a ridiculously higher amount of body fat.
Yes. Not to be rude or anything, but he was like genuinely like he had some chub, which is like a mean thing to say, but he had like a little bit of a gut going on, which is strange.
Due to the fat where you're supposed to be at such a low body fat that you're cold at like +30.
Exactly. And like I'm not sure what happened there with him, and we're definitely going off topic, and we're going to loop around eventually, but I don't know what happened with him because I didn't talk to him at the show. This was like back in 2016, by the way, and he looked like he didn't lift. He looked like just Joe Schmo off the street decided, hey, I'm going to go do this because I have $500 that I could just blow on this show. It's not that much, but like maybe like
for him it wasn't that much. For people who prep,
yeah,
a little bit more.
Yeah, and honestly, maybe he did do a prep and like lost weight and got down to whatever it was that he was at, and he's like, you know what, I feel confident. I want to display it, and you know what? If that's the case, good for him. If not, he needs a better coach. Because he straight up did not come back to the night show. I didn't see him in the afternoon. But back to my men's physique athlete profile. The first one's guys that don't train legs And this one goes for bikini as well. And it's not to disparage anybody who or disqualify or just bring down anyone who does bikini either. But it's people whose coaches tell them they should. And that this one will be easier. Because it's like, yes, it's going to be easier. You just have to sort of stand there and like, whatever.
There's a coach I know who will push every female he has in doing bikini.
I know who you're talking about. We're not going to
Why?
name him, but that's not a cool move. It's not.
Especially when like it was my friend doing it. She was larger. I think she was like 210 or something, and then she got down to about 120.
Wow.
And then that was when he was pushing her into physique or into bikini. And I'm like, yeah, but maybe she should just eat food,
Yeah.
and gain muscle mass
And like,
not be very small.
There's a certain type of person that competes, and like those people like to compete. Excuse me. And it's not for everybody. Oh my goodness. Excuse me.
Calm yourself.
I'm losing it. But they just simply, you good there?
Yeah.
We can't all have Josh Johnston chest genetics.
I can see myself, and then I realize I'm real, and it's not a mirror, and it's whatever. Just keep going. Keep talking.
All right. But no, it's not cool to push people. Like the one time that I've pushed someone, I bugged my buddy Evan. I say, hey, so when are we gonna get you on stage? Like all summer I've been teasing him. And he might not, but he shows like an interest in bodybuilding. Like he trains and he likes like stuff like that. He kind of follows some of the like doesn't really follow competition and whatnot, but he likes that stuff. And that's why I asked him.
There's a very big difference between like training as a bodybuilder and being a bodybuilder. And then, the one part being insane like intakes, either an insane amount of food intake or an insane depth.
Yeah. And just the mental game there. Because if you're not enjoying it, like for example, I use my friend Sam, he's like 2 weeks out from
he's your friend now.
Pardon?
I like seeing it progress from your competition to the guy you competed with to your buddy to now he's your friend. Unbelievable.
He's next level. The amount of drive that he has, he's just like, yep, we're doing this now. And he's super nonchalant about it. And he's just like, yeah, we're going. And he's just climbing and he's getting better and better every day. It's insane. But that's the type of person who genuinely just like, I like this, I can do this, and he's doing it and he's phenomenal at it. I'm excited to see where he goes. But yeah, back to the men's physique question.
Number
two types of people. We're at two. And the third kind, people who think they're too small for classic, which is strange. And I've heard this a lot, and someone has told me this because I asked them if they'd ever switched to classic, and they were like, "Nah, I'm not big enough." And looking at this person, you don't think this, and knowing how tall they are, I know that they're not far from the weight cap. And I know if they get shredded, they'll look phenomenal. They like tiny waist, just like big legs, big arms, like next level. So that one I don't really get, but it's like, if it is what it is.
If you don't think you're big enough to do classic, like me, I'm still want to do classic.
You still want to do classic.
Working on getting bigger.
To put into context, though, this friend of mine, he is no longer on the natural path, which is his choice.
That's cool. Nearly natural.
But anyways, it's a lot harder to fluctuate between the two. Well, I'm sure that it's different for everyone, but to make a weight cap for classic and also be men's physique, and like I'm sure there's some organizational stuff that just is tricky with that on that level, because he's also a national level competitor. Like, he's very good. Anyways, and I think the fifth one is just or the fourth type of person that does men's physique is just someone who's like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. This seems like fun, and then they just go in with no expectations and like just see what happens.
They just have a good time.
Pardon?
They just have a good time.
Yeah, that's it. And like, they're not super into bodybuilding. They're just like, this seems like an experience to have, which honestly, I think it's the best. It's the best option. It's a fun time. It's a good reason to try it, to compete. There we go. Cardigains initialized.
I still have food. I'm gonna slowly consume through it.
We'll get you a bib.
Yeah.
Like a toddler.
I got a new hoodie today. I ordered from Chase, push pull guy.
Oh, nice.
And am I allowed to talk about my gym session, or is that should I wait for that?
Pardon?
Can I talk about my gym experience today, or do you want me to wait until you're finished?
Well, I can't think of the last men's physique person.
That's what it was. I remember that was it. I just wanted to do it.
Yeah, like a fit person who's like, you know what, I'll give this a shot and see what happens. But yeah, tell us about your gym experience today.
I rolled up with my what?
Tell us about the hack squat.
Oh, hack squat was great. Before the hack squat, though, I don't do deadlifts on pull day. I do it on my second leg day because it's a posterior movement, and then I'll move into glutes and hammies and stuff. But no, I showed up. My friend showed up. One of our other friends was there that we talked to, and then warming up in the back room where there's all powerlifting equipment. And there's different clips, and there are these pink clips that we'll try to get every time because we say it adds power. Why not? So I took, pink clips from these people, and then they're like, oh, we have one set. Do you want to use the platform? And we're like, oh, we got the clips, we got the platform, we got the deadlift bar. We set everything up. I had 2 new bags of Skittles that I plopped down, using my new belt for the first time on deads. As we're doing this, Chase comes in with a new pair of shorts, a new tank top, and a new hoodie that's over on my bed, which I'm going to ask permission to grab to show you.
Yeah, go get it.
Allowed?
Chase better pay you for this promo.
Should he?
He should. I don't know. Did you get them for free?
No.
Well, I don't know. We're still new at this.
It is a large, and it's also soaking wet from those outside. But the controlled aggression.
Oh, I like that. That's pretty cool.
Is super nice. The shorts are long enough that they go to about the knee, so I can wear them at work. The tank top is like skin tight. And he saw me. He was like, "Got to get you to a medium." And I was like, "I've never talked to you, but thank you very
100%.
much." And everything was awesome.
Medium.
We do. Everything was awesome. Having a great day. My friend and I were using the same working weight on deads, and did my sets, and I was upset. I can't work out with other people because my headphones are out. I'm talking to them, then I have to put them in, and then I listen to a song to get into it, but I feel like I'm rushing and I didn't warm up the way I wanted to. So everything was completely perfect, but I just didn't start the foundation, didn't start the workout the way I wanted to. And everything else was okay, but like, it was whatever.
Okay. So
I don't know.
a thought.
Hack squat.
Tell us about hack squat.
I'll tell you about hack squat. Last time I've only used hack squat 3 times. Twice at the Y when we would go. So I remember
Oh,
one
yeah.
day I got yelled at because I kept locking my legs and I didn't know what it meant. You guys were like,
Was
"Stop
it me
locking your
yelling at
knees."
you? Did I do it?
No, it was Lacey, and I'm like, I don't know what this means, but this is my first time meeting you, so I don't want to yell. And then when I trained with you at Monster, and I had this superset of hack squat into frog jumps into a weighted treadmill.
That was the weird hack squat they used at Monster though.
That was like the OG completely vertical.
That was like,
right?
no, you were like, it's the like the lever one. That wasn't the track, the one on the track.
I don't know.
Oh,
I
Brian
just know
kicked
it's
your
not.
ass though.
Brian did kick my ass. But hack squat was good. Warmed up with it. Felt okay. I didn't know what weight to put on, so I threw on 25s. Felt decent. Threw on 45s. Almost collapsed at one point, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, man.
I found that the foot plate on the bottom was just not. It wasn't correct. It was too small. Because like, if the plate was like this, my feet would be here and here, where I wanted them to be here. But I had to like put them down and a bit closer in so I could then draw
That's weird.
it was
That's weird.
very odd, but I made sure that I had full range of motion, like basically resisting until I got to the very bottom of the slide, I guess you would call it. Track. That's what you called it. And then I rocked out 90 pounds for a few sets, and it felt
nice.
It felt awful, and then slowly got very, very easy. So I'm excited to progress. And conveniently, this was week 1 of my block, so I can swap it out, and I can see how it feels going forwards.
It's a cool exercise, and it varies very like a lot depending on like what style of hacks, well, like what brand of hack squat it is. Because I used one when I was like 17, 18, like first time ever. I was like, yeah, I'll put a plate or 2 on it because I leg pressed like 3 plates on when I was 18, and I was like, yeah, look at that, and then I couldn't move it, and then like I took everything off, used just like the mechanism itself with no weight on it, no additional weight, and I'm like, why is this so hard? We did like 2 sets, and I was like embarrassed and walked off and did something.
I know, even the mechanism. Well, like it was just. I think maybe, and in this example with both of us, not used to it.
Yeah.
Because it only took a few sets before I was like, okay, I got this. But no, it was horrifying. They also had it set up so like arm's length, like there's a mirror right there.
Oh.
So I'm just watching myself. And
yeah.
It was good. It hyped me up a bit.
So Monster also positioned theirs facing a mirror. And for most exercises, like I'll look at myself in the mirror. I don't necessarily like to do that for like some movements. So what I've taken to doing is like taking my hat and like almost putting it over my eyes so that I could just see like this, like can't see anything. Or like during prep last year in 2020, the incomplete prep, I would close my eyes.
I started doing that too, actually. Especially whenever I'm less about when I'm physically moving a weight, but when I'm warming up or if I'm waiting, 100%, I will do the exact same thing.
Well, I did it on like a lot of my last working sets because I started doing it because there was a lot of people just walking back and forth in front of me.
It's hard.
It's distracting. Guy Sisternino is right. Like if the dude's right there, it's distracting. It gets in your face, and he had every right to be mad at those teenagers.
Right, 100%. Even what was I doing? Oh, when I was warming up for my deadlifts, even because I knew my friend was going to come in. So as I'm warming up, every maybe like 30 seconds, cat camel, whatever. Nope, someone just walked by. Okay, whatever. Cat camel, keep going. World's greatest show. Oh no, it's just someone else. Whatever. Like I just couldn't focus. That's what it was too. So hats are good sometimes, but with the new hoodie I have, I'm like a men's small-ish. Men's small's too tight, medium's too big. That's a large because he didn't have anything else in stock.
Medium is roomy. It's not too big.
So the hood, if it's all the way and I'm in the back, it's like here. And it's perfect because then I can't see anything in my peripherals. I can just look down. And no, I just going back. Yeah, I can't work out
I'm listening.
when I see other people. I have to be able to just zone people out. And especially, that's why I think I listen to motivation more than music sometimes. Because then I hear angry people yelling and I can hone in on that and just envision like that person yelling at me.
That's a play. Like I don't do super well with the yelling as much anymore, but when I visualize, like I don't do I like instrumental songs. Like you've seen my like weird playlists.
Zach Hempsey.
Pardon?
Zach Hempsey.
Yeah, he's got some really cool, just
God.
like it's those it's got that, it's just a vibe that just feels like you're in a movie and you're just doing something super intense, so it sets the mood. Love it.
If you've ever played Skyrim, let me tell you.
Oh, I've played Skyrim.
Oh man, that's been in my gym playlist for a while. Was I think it's just straight up called Dragonborn.
Yeah.
But no, like, no, yeah, it's not even angry music. It's just a beat, something that builds, and just it doesn't stop.
I like that stuff. It's nice, and it's nice to get away from like the yelling and whatnot.
It has its uses,
yeah,
100%. But no, I feel you. Even like because I have watched. When did you give me Funimation? Like a week and a half ago.
Probably, and you blasted through Dragon Ball Z.
So I watched the first 3 seasons, right? An episode is 20 minutes times divided by 60. Okay, I have watched in about a week and a half 27 hours of Dragon Ball Z. Yeah.
Gracious.
I
don't know why.
And it sucks because
like, surprised. This is like nothing for me.
Some Dragon Ball Z motivation has been a few spoilers, which kind of sucks. Like, because like going in, I know about the characters, but I don't know the story. So I'm like listening to one character's motivation. They're like, "Oh, this character, like this bad guy killed this person," and I'm like, "Oh, well, they're fighting that guy, and he hasn't killed that person yet." So shit, whatever. But like knowing who that character is and just hearing them be like, I don't know, it's just it does something. Mainly Vegeta.
I actually did the same thing with My Hero Academia.
No.
Yeah. Fandom's weird. I don't they do their own thing. I like the show. It's superheroes and it's superheroes, dude. It's my favorite thing. And it's very imaginative superpowers. But anyways, there's one that I watch like when I was doing hack squats during prep. I'd watch it every single time on my top sets, and just hear it in my headphones, and just it's during a fight with one of the characters, his mentor, and the bad guy, and it's just awesome. And he's finding the will to like not crack under pressure, literally, because his power is like hardening. That's what it's called. He turns to rock, and like it's very dope.
He's the thing.
Yeah. You were telling me about hack squat. There's an issue with it. Would you like to delve into that, or is that?
So I was warming up. So I saw they posted on IG.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh hell yeah, hack squat sends to a bunch of people. I'm gonna use it, gonna be great. And then this guy, he was fixing it. Like, he was like messing with it. And I was warming up and I was like, hey, what's going on? He's like, when they installed it, they put some things on backwards or upside down. And I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. But I was like, oh, well, like just fix it in 30 minutes, you know, and I'll use it, whatever, something like that. And so, you know, for leg press, right? You set up on leg press, legs are up, and you like move, you know what I mean? Like to stop, grab the handles, you move it. For hack squat, you set up and the handles are be like
either
here.
up here or down beside your hips.
No, they installed the handles upside down. So they're down beside the foot plate. So I just have to grab this bar and awkwardly move it out to the side.
That's terrible. That's dangerous.
It wasn't the worst, but it also doesn't have handles up top. It's just the padding with like the rectangular beam. So it's very like.
Oh, does it have like weird handles on the bottom or not?
No. No.
There's no handles.
No.
Oh man.
No.
That's gonna be tough. There's like
I don't want to say I'm pro, but like
this or something.
Well,
that's gnarly.
No, it's solid. It's
yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot, and
it's
I can feel it.
The trick to hack squat that I've noticed, and I realized that we've been talking about hack squat for probably like 15 minutes at this point. 10 minutes, who knows? But the trick to hack squat is not to treat it like a squat. I treat it as a quad movement, and I'm just focusing on extending the knees, and that has gotten me like the most quad development in the last like 6 months.
I started as a squat. Mm-hmm. It felt weird. I even tried like with my lifters just to see how it felt.
Yeah,
way better bare like flat foot. I don't typically wear shoes. The only time I wear shoes in the gym is when I'm squatting.
Fair enough.
Everything else is just flat foot. So tried it with that. Tried flat foot. Tried like corkscrew in the ground like a squat. Mm-hmm. And then my last set I just treated it like leg press. I'm like, it's just leg press, except it's the opposite way. And that felt exponentially better.
There you go. Because it's not a squat. It's a machine, and it's designed to take away like basically as much stability as possible. Like you don't need to stabilize, you just need to brace and push. So yeah, keeping that in will definitely, we'll see an increase in your quad game. I'm hyped for it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
I also set up the reverse hyper properly to do Nordics, and oh man, those suck. I don't hate anything when I train, so if I say it's awful or I hate it, I don't. Unless it's like shrugs because they're just boring. So I do incline shrugs instead.
Maybe I'll give that a go.
They're fun. No, the Nordic is deadly. It's so fun. And I hold a dowel. So I'll just do as many reps as I can. I aim for 10, as many as I can. And then once I know I can't get back up, I'll use the dowel to like help myself up. And then it's essentially, the way I was explaining it to my friend when I tried to get him to do it is, it's kind of like you're just maxing out weight on a hamstring curl and you were resisting as long as you can.
Basically. Nordics are hard, man. They're tough.
Yes.
The last time I did those were like either at some point in Kingston for like just for fun, or in like 2016. It's been a while. It's been a long time.
I have a couple weird exercises like that.
Yeah.
I have Nordic, which I superset, which is like a laying back extension.
Okay.
It's like, why not? I have same leg day right before that, single leg, glute bridges. I'll throw like a 10-pound plate and just rock out 15, 20 reps. I have like L-sit holds, just hold as long as I can. It's like weird things like that. Weird variations. I started doing cable tricep extensions where I'll grab 2 single arm handles, and if this is the machine, I'll push into it and it'll just hinge and go down.
Nice.
That's good. I'll do single arm cable rows, not even like full range of motion, but
Just like as much
just
as
until I know that maximum tension is on my lats. Hold it for a sec and then go back in.
nice.
And then stretch the lat after.
That's dope. One that I've been doing for lats that I feel has been working, and it's like the most old school exercise, is just underhand pull downs. And it's been working, and it's felt super good. It was super weird. So you know how I have that tricep issue where there's like a knot in there somewhere that I just need to get help with. So I've been doing crossbody extensions instead of press downs, and it's just been the best pump, and like just it's felt amazing. It's been a good change.
I might try that. I do at the end of one of my chest days, sets of 20 of single arm on the way down. It used to be bent over like a kickback, but
I do kind of like a to the side type of thing. Yeah, cross.
I'm imagining, is that one of C-Bum's videos where in his intros he's rocking that out?
Oh yeah, like, I think he's doing the reverse hug.
That is what it is.
Yeah. So I have news. Tuesday, I'm getting a car.
I'm sorry, what?
Getting the car on Tuesday.
Just so you're aware, I have a consistent schedule for the next month and a half.
Yeah.
And I consistently have Fridays and Saturdays off. And Sundays I work 7:30 to about 1:30.
So this works really well because
Max and I have not trained since August of July.
I think it was
July of 2020.
Yeah. We haven't trained. We hit a chest day together.
Oh, that's what you forced me to do. I had just gotten a PR, 185 on bench, and Max was like, yeah, let's do it for triples.
Didn't you do it though?
That's beside the point. It was awful.
That's what we do. We push each other. That works well though, because Rachel has off on Fridays.
No.
I could bring Rachel too.
No way.
And Friday is normally a chest and arms day. We can line it up.
I would say mine flies throughout the week, but like,
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
I
have a split that's push pull leg rest, push pull leg rest, so I can switch out one of the days.
We could rock a little something.
I can see why you told me to wait.
Yeah. For
exciting.
those listening at home, I told Josh that I had a surprise for him. I had something exciting to tell him. And I didn't tell him what it was because I wanted to see his reaction, specifically because I wanted to see his reaction on the podcast, like in all its glory. So this will be cool. We'll organize this, and you know what we could do? Also, we could.
I know what you're gonna say.
We could film an in-person thing.
I know.
Bring the camera.
We can remake the photo of us sitting on the couch.
But in cardigans.
Well, because last time was when it was around the time we got our Gymshark hoodie, wasn't it? No. I'm wearing my green one. I think you're wearing your black one.
Well, the picture at the end of the video, that's from like a week before we moved out of Yonge Street.
And then we didn't see each other for
like a long time.
A while.
Yeah. Miss that house sometimes. That was a fun house.
Still my free chicken dinner from St. Hubert's. which I could not read because I don't know French.
That's okay.
And Rachel was like, I want to see what does it say, what does it say? I'm like, I don't know, take it. Fucking psycho. Jesus.
Oh,
I want to share something, by the way.
yeah.
If you do bring Rachel, so her and I met for the first time, right?
Yeah.
Known each other for about a year.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything, but
Oh God.
she was mean.
She was mean?
She was like friend mean, which is fine.
Okay.
But that was my first time meeting her, so I was like, man.
It's how it's if she picks on you a little bit, it means she likes you.
It was like every few sentences.
I know. Rachel, I know you're gonna listen to this, and don't feel bad. He can handle it.
We left St. Hubert's, and
She's gonna be so upset. She's gonna feel so bad.
It was good. Well, my partner at the time was like, she was really mean. I'm like, yeah, I know. I didn't do anything. Why did I deserve that?
Well, because you guys roast each other like whenever you guys chat. Like,
yeah, and see, now I'm doing it
Instagram.
publicly when she doesn't have a chance to retaliate. So like it balances out.
This is the payback.
Now she's
Rachel,
gonna beat
you
me
don't
up.
have to feel bad.
Don't bring her, please. I want to get beat up.
Oh, I'm gonna bring her. She's gonna pull 315 for reps.
So I had a question.
I have an answer
from an anonymous person named
Okay.
Rachel, who wanted to know on the podcast about going for max testing
Mm.
and how long you should wait. And I sense this is because of when she went for a lift a few weeks ago.
Which time?
I'm thinking bench, but
Which
from what you're
time?
saying, I assume, yeah. No, I was the same. That's why
Yeah.
the video when I get 315 on deads, it looks ugly. Ugly because I had tried it like 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah. So for those listening at home, once again, my beautiful and incredibly strong girlfriend, Rachel,
So
has
strong.
been chasing 135 on bench press for a good little while now. And for the last, actually, this would be the first off week from heavy bench that she's taken in at least 3 or 4 weeks. And during those 3 or 4 weeks, she's tried to hit 135 during her bench session every single time, at least 2 sets, like 2 attempts.
Which I want to clarify as well, because the 45-pound marks or 90-pound marks are always super exciting, right?
They are very exciting.
For dudes, 135 is like naturally muscular guys who are just hanging out, having a great time. For me, that took me like 2.5 years.
Same, actually.
So for guys like us, 135 is like, okay, he's starting to get it. He knows.
Mm-hmm.
For women, 135, I'm like,
that's impressive. It's impressive. And
I think that's
close.
the equivalent of 225 for guys.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, back to the situation. So to answer Rachel's question.
No.
Oh, you didn't.
No.
You gotta spray shout on it.
What? Shout?
Like the OxyClean or whatever it is.
Taking it off. It's fine.
No, it's fine. Leave it.
We'll wear it like this. Keep going.
Fine. So to answer Rachel's question, what I've been told is obviously to take time to rest, because when you're doing powerlifting style of training, you're lifting very heavy, and it's not just the muscles that are getting tired, it's everything. It's the nervous system, your muscles, obviously,
The big one.
your tendons, everything is tired after several weeks. And Rachel only bench once a week, but it's still very taxing, and she goes ham in the gym every single time. She only trains 3 times a week. That's all she needs, because she goes absolutely to the wall with it.
So opposed to me, where I train 6 times a week, but I'm going at like 75, 80%.
Yeah. And
Where you guys go
in the middle.
hard.
I go 5 times a week, and the only thing I train twice a week is arms and chest, and like that's just because those are my big weak points. But yeah. Anyways, so something that Rachel's got to consider is allowing her nervous system to recover and rest and be able to perform at the level at which she wants to compete at. And she can get it. That's the thing. I know she's strong enough to, like, in 2 months, she's going to hit 135. Probably less than that, to be honest, because she's going to hear this and be like, you know what? I'm going to hit it.
Gonna take it as a challenge.
But no, she's going to crush it. And I lost my train of thought. But
there is no such thing as overtraining, but there is such a thing as under-resting. And I said that to someone today, actually, where they were upset because they were not hitting their weight goals. And they're like, I got to work out more, I guess. I'm like, no, you just got to relax, let your body hang out for a bit.
The thing that got me, actually, I used to train like 6 days a week, and full on, like heavy duty, like going intense every single day. And I listened to one podcast or like several podcasts with Dorian Yates, and like he would train like 4 days a week, 3 days a week. He wouldn't train like every single day. He'd go in for like an hour at the most.
Yeah, it was maybe
just like
40 minutes an hour.
Destroy that muscle, but he'd let like a full week go by and then he'd like go again. And I was like, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I'm gonna try this. And dude, I swear to God, I put on like 5 solid pounds of lean tissue in like a year. And like all my lifts went up.
No, 100%. See, that's where 6 days a week, I'm kind of, I don't know, but I think that's why adding in an extra rest day, so it's technically 5, whatever.
Yeah. So well, like over like an 8-day split,
right?
Like 3 days on, 1 day off.
But I'm getting the same amount of volume that, let's say, you would do if you were doing like a 5-day split.
Maybe. I don't do a whole lot of volume though.
Interesting.
I do very because because I'll do like maybe 3 or 4 working sets. Now that I'm out of prep, I'll do like more lean towards 4, depending on the exercise. But I'll just go heavy enough on like most of my exercises so that like the goal isn't necessarily to feel it for the next like 4 days, but like I end up feeling it for the next 4 days. And
it's hard for me to feel it because of the way that I train. I also do stretch for like 15 minutes every day after I train. It's usually just legs. Legs are feeling kind of sore. Maybe my chest is tight. It was tight the other day, but I also did a bunch of push-ups like the next day. But by splitting things up, I'm getting the same amount of working sets in. But same thing, everything's usually 3 sets minus the leg press, hack squat, and my compounds. Everything is just 2 to 3 sets. But then that forces me to go a little bit more intense. And by having the extra rest day, that then also allows me to always go until failure on my final exercise. On my last working set of compounds, I'll typically go as many reps as possible.
Okay.
Just like little things like that to bump up the intensity. I also keep a hoodie on as long as I can. And that it makes you sweat so bad. Max wears a very similar gym attire than I do. So you probably understand.
Josh and I basically match at the gym.
With the new hoodie I got, because I immediately took off my bacon and barbells hoodie and put Chase's new hoodie on, and it was so long that you couldn't tell I was wearing. I felt like a woman. I'll be honest. You couldn't tell that I was wearing shorts. So it looked like I was just, naked from the waist down, walking around wearing a giant hoodie.
That happened to me
And
the
my
other day too.
boyfriend's powerlifting in the next room. It was good.
The exact same thing happened to me last leg day, but I showed up with a giant shirt and short shorts. So, like, was I wearing pants? Who knows?
But the thing is, I really don't care. It's cozy and it makes me look badass to myself. I don't really care what other people think.
That's a very big and important point that you made. And Rachel has brought this up a few times. And like, obviously, I'll see her and think that she looks gorgeous and like super fine.
Sorry.
In certain days, like maybe she'll have like a tough time and just be like, I don't feel myself. I'm like, baby, you look gorgeous. But to her, it's like, she's like, yeah, but I want to feel, I don't feel myself. And I'm like, oh, okay. Is there anything I can do to help? And so then we'll work it out and we'll figure stuff out, and she'll find an outfit that makes her feel strong and powerful and confident. And
it definitely helps a lot what you're wearing.
It really does. And I definitely understand that. That's why I don't wear like tight tank tops anymore, because I personally don't think I have very big arms. And like just in proportion, like they've come up a bit since prep, because I've been training them harder and more frequently. But it's just like tight tank tops, I just don't feel myself in them.
I know, like so that's part of why I wear very big hoodies or long sleeves and stuff. And especially when I got amped up my game after college and things like that, I felt like I looked awful because I would go in just wearing a tank top, and immediately I'm like, oh, that sucks. I hate that. That's small. That looks awful. Whereas now, by the time I take it off, it's usually towards the latter half of my workout. So when I take it off, I'm like, look at the pump. That looks cool. That looks super cool. I got a vein there.
Which is a fantastic feeling, and we feel good about ourselves again. I posted a TikTok that is just a silly video that I didn't think would blow up, but it blew up. And it's me explaining the gym outfit, like we said, and it's just like, you know what, and I feel confident about this, and this tank top makes me feel confident, blah blah blah, and like it's basically that. Like I'll take off this hoodie, keep the oversized tee, because that makes me feel like wide and like just thicker, and the oversized tee comes off, and then I'm in a tank top. I'm like, there, now we've arrived, type of thing. There we are, guys.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling.
It's definitely hard, and I know we talked about it last week, but body image is something that tough. A lot of people struggle with.
Yeah,
honestly, more so in the weightlifting community than in general society.
I don't disagree. I think it's very prevalent in the fitness industry because for a number of reasons. Like, I think people get into fitness to fix like something that they feel is wrong. And then it just snowballs to be something that it's like, I need to get better. I need to continuously get better. And then we have like situations like bigorexia or like body dysmorphia, which are, I don't think people use the term bigorexia anymore. It's just body dysmorphia. It's like,
it was more of like a weird internet term.
Yeah.
For a few years.
Yeah.
That's where you have like guys in their 20s, early 20s, who are dying.
Yeah.
Because of steroid abuse.
Well, yeah, and we would like to point out, we say abuse and not use, because there are safer ways to do it, which we will
Very
not get
good.
into because we don't have the expertise to talk about this at all. Um,
It's
we're
because we're
both.
natty.
It's because we're natty and
So
we're
that's
not doctors.
why.
This is the warning. We don't take our advice on medical things unless it's to go see a doctor.
I
Anyways,
diagnosed you with go see a doctor.
boom. But yeah, and like I was watching More Plates, More like I got into Derek's videos, More Plates, More Dates. Check him out. He's got some cool info. But he was like a lot of he had a segment for a while of just teenagers on TikTok who were just doing SARMs, which is
so many.
Terrifying because those aren't regulated at all either.
No.
And
There are also humans that are still, everyone's always still growing, but they're like,
but they're in
they
the
are still
peak
growing.
of they're in the peak of their like puberty. So like
They have enough going on.
yeah. And then you introduce these like their hormones are ramping up, and then you add in these other hormones which basically tells the body like, hey, you don't need to produce that. And then it's like they get off it and then their body can't produce the stuff that it needs to produce.
That's why
Which
testicle
might be
strength.
wrong the way I'm explaining it, but like, is it? I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Do I go on the steroid topic, or do I go on the weird thought I had that made me mad the other day?
Is it a complete subject shift or?
Yes.
Okay, let's shift.
Why is there a loading phase for creep? It makes no sense to me.
Someone explained it to me.
So from my perspective,
okay,
it's kind of like if you're taking any other steroid or nutrient or whatever.
Yeah, but creatine is
like,
not even close to steroids.
Unless you ask, teenagers' parents, right? But from my perspective, right, it's like, why do I need to overload my system with this compound?
So
when I only need a certain smaller amount for the rest of, let's say, my life.
So it was explained to me, and you don't need a loading phase. But if you do the loading phase, it makes the body get used to processing it quicker. And I think that's the only reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like, I was thinking about it related to steroids. I'm like, I'm not going to take quadruple my dose. And then after 3
But these
weeks,
are also two very different things, right?
Oh, this is true.
Because creatine is just basically a nutrient that shuttles other nutrients around the body.
Let's go!
And steroids are anabolic hormones that like change a lot within you.
Teenagers should not take steroids.
No.
Full disclosure, Max is going to make a face. I would like to, at one point in my life, maybe try a cycle, see how it goes. However, there's many conditions that I've set. I have to be a certain age where my testosterone starts going down. I have to have competed in at least one natural show, right? I have to have X, Y, and Z lifts because, people are able to do it naturally with their compounds. So it's kind of cheating if I don't achieve that and I get to, as say, my limit, my genetic potential. Is that the correct?
I think limit? So, yes.
To get as far as I can in a natural state before progressing to the next level. And then there's the 22-year-old version of me who's like, I want to take steroids and get super big right now. But I'm also like, I can't do that because it's not healthy. And that's a very not good attitude to have.
It's really not. And I think the advice that I was given about anabolic steroids was, if you're not making money off your body, it's not worth it.
Right.
Which is not false, honestly. Like if, like these fitness stars on YouTube and like even like pro bodybuilders, like not even like the open class, like I'm talking men's physique. Come on, we know they're on stuff. It's not a secret anymore.
Everyone's on stuff. The Rock's nutritionist gives him steroids.
Yeah, we're not gonna delve into that just yet, but like they're making money off of their physique, so it makes sense for them to take this added risk when they can afford the doctors to help them with it. Now, back to your points about like waiting for certain things to line up. That's honestly a very smart idea. I completely agree. And I was told by another like person older than me who was like, yeah, your endocrine system is still like running at full capacity, and like you're still technically an adolescent until like your mid-20s. Like technically
25 is around.
Yeah. And like your endocrine system is still pumping, like you're reaching the end of puberty as of 25, basically. Yeah. So like, look at me, I'm out of puberty.
Made it. That's also a good point as well, because at that point in my life as well, I will have a better grasp of what I want to do with my life.
That's also very true. And like for a lot of people, like I know a lot of dudes who get into bodybuilding and like competitive stuff, and like they get up there and then they go and then they're on a bunch of stuff and they don't like it anymore. It's like, oh, well.
I have a friend currently is cycling and hates it because they kind of like with Rachel, where continuously going super ham, attempting to max out, they're not maxing out anymore. They feel mentally awful. They were talking about they have bad acne, haven't had their period in months because of it. It's like all these things, their body's just in pain all the time. Down. And I told them, I was like, well, would you consider cycling off? They honestly do not know. Well, it should be something to think about.
Do they know they need to cycle off?
She is 23, I believe. Started cycling earlier about 8 months ago.
But she's on cycle. That's an 8-month cycle?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's long.
I believe she's slowly been ramping up as well. I think she added in a second compound and increasing the dosages.
I think that's a terrible idea. From everything that I've learned about like steroids that people talk about, is like, also does she know she has to cycle off?
I don't know.
Because she probably should.
Whereas I have another friend,
for health reasons, she should.
Yeah, right. But the thing with her as well, she doesn't have goals. She doesn't have any idea of what she wants to do, where she wants to go. So it's also kind of odd, right? So it's definitely a tough situation. We have to be like, all right, this is fun. We're having a great time, but obviously we're not. So maybe take a step back, cycle off, evaluate where we're at in our life. Mm-hmm. Whereas I have another friend who he started cycling about a year ago. He has tests and something else. I don't remember what it is. And he's on his 3rd cycle now, and he's loving it. He's having a great time. He is younger, unfortunately, but he plays sport. He's a powerlifter. You know him.
We're not going to call him out by name, though.
No, that's not cool. That's not cool. But no, like he's in sport. They just won, I think, for their sport. They're doing amazing. It's powerlifting. Even before he started cycling, 4 or 5 reps on squat, on deads, 2 to 3 on bench. Like he had hit all of those markers that I was talking about for myself, and I'm aiming for. And I believe he's been training since he was 13, 14. Probably. So he has the experience, right? So he understands where he wants to go.
And I get the sense that I know who's mentoring him, and I get the sense that they also know they have experience with this type of stuff, and they're not going to send him on like, hey, bro.
Oh,
You gotta take more if you want to do better. Because 9 times, like a lot of the time, like that's not gonna fix the problem.
I know that's the thing that
ground.
some of the old school guys were talking about, where people nowadays, they're taking like triple, quadruple the dose.
Well, that's scary.
Yeah,
That's scary.
It's not necessary, but it's also
it's hazardous on their health. Like, because you can obviously, like, we all know that there's a lot of deaths in bodybuilding, which is super unfortunate. A lot of these guys seem like super awesome people, and their bodies just have the wear and tear of all this stuff. But like these young guys putting more than they need to, when you see like top level pros coming in with like what they say they take less than they actually did, but a lot of the times it's like retired pro, like talking about Fuad's podcast, they talk about what they take and it's like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
I don't see a reason for Fuad to lie. He doesn't care enough to lie about that. I don't think.
Oh, not so much.
He's great.
So,
We have to stop. We have to stop sending people from here to there.
that's fine. No, it's scary, and
It is scary.
There's either, I'm gonna say there's 4 types of people.
Yeah.
First off, there's people who don't cycle. We're not gonna talk about them.
That's terrible idea.
There's people who cycle at a young age and continue to ramp up, and those are where you see people who die in their 30s or even in their 20s. Then you have the people who they're smart about it, but they never ramp down, and that's where you have people like Rich Piana.
They just sort of blast and cruise.
Right. And those people make it around 45, 50. And then you have the older people, let's say Arnold, right? Where I believe he still has lower.
He's probably on TRT or something at this point.
TRTs, right? And then there's those people who then they ramp up, make a name of themselves, have a great time, and then they lower and slowly ramp off, and they're on TRTs. So those people, surprisingly, are still around, make it to their 60s and 70s.
I feel like it also depends on. There's a thing such as known as like genetic. It's obviously genetics come into it, and people will respond super well to certain compounds differently than other people will. So like some people don't need a whole lot. Like if you talk about Sebum's like cycle, he does basically nothing almost in the off season. Like he does just enough to get a result. Excuse me.
He also has to be very careful about it.
Yeah.
Because he has autoimmune disease. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Because I know he also keeps his fat intake very low.
I think so.
Because
and then you have people like, do you know Boston Lloyd? Well, let me tell you.
Let's hear about this guy.
Well, he was like Rich Piana, but like more intense and like not as like chill about. He I don't want to say glorified steroids, whereas Rich Piana was just like, yeah, this is what I do. It is what it is.
Which those are the people that I appreciate a lot.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, no, I pick. Or like even in his videos where, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt and we're going to get back. But even like in some motivation videos, he's like, look at this. He's like, I'm a professional. Don't do what I do. But he's like, it's 1,400 milligrams of caffeine. He's like, yeah, don't take this because it'll kill you. He's like, well, I'm going to drink it. But he's like, but actually, like, do not do this. This will give you a heart attack. He's like, I'm going to do it because and he says naughty language, which I don't know if Max wants to hear. He's like, because I'm crazy. But like, do not do this.
Mm-hmm.
And we like those people. We like those people who are very open about it.
Yeah. Because the people who lie about it, it's just not cool, man. It's just
Those are Instagram people that
Yeah.
sell meal plans that A, they're not allowed to, and B, have people eating less than a bikini
1,800.
competitors.
We're getting 800 calories. There's a very top tier coach that claims that his athletes are eating 3,000 calories on prep, who is actually feeding them like 800 and just pumping them full of stuff. And I'm not gonna name names. I'm also not gonna say how I know this stuff because I have my sources. I know people. But it's a big thing. And like that sucks. Like
there's a coach in Australia who, I don't know if you've heard about this. He trains a lot of top tier bikini competitors, and he gives them meth to help them lose weight and to suppress their appetite.
That's terrifying.
Like,
I did hear about this. I don't know if this is still a thing. That's terrifying.
It's wild. I apologize. We're talking about Boston, Lloyd, and I told you
it's okay. Basically just that he was on a lot of stuff and would talk about taking a lot of stuff and how like he attributed like a lot of his success to the steroids specifically and not like other stuff. When, as we know at this point, like the steroids will help, but it's not going to make you a champ.
It's very frustrating when people lie about it as well.
Mm-hmm. There's throwback to the good old days of YouTube fitness when we had our half natties and whatnot.
Just admit it.
That's still questionable to me. You know, I don't know if we want to delve into like half natties or fake natties or not, because I don't think this is what this podcast wants to be about.
Let's say, how long did you want to go for? Because we've been going for a bit over an hour.
Okay. This has been a big steroid topic.
Yeah, I know. We've been going for a while. I'm gonna set 15 more minutes.
No, we could like talk about this for this specifically for like 5 more minutes, and then we'll switch to something better.
Yeah, the amount of people who don't admit it or who shouldn't lie are not cool. But you are correct. You do need steroids. Do help a lot. We're not going to deny that, but you also do need. I would say, because you can see a lot of people who are cycling who you don't know they are, because there's people who cycle with awful work and diet. There's people who are natural, who have an amazing work ethic, and then if you combine those two, steroids and good work ethic, that's where you get the pros.
Exactly. And like, I know a lot of people who are on a lot of stuff and they're not seeing the results that they want to see because they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna go, I'm on stuff, I don't have to eat this stuff, I don't have to eat properly, I can just it'll balance itself out. It's like, it doesn't work like that though.
No,
it doesn't. Anyways, let's move on to a different subject. What else did we write down?
Yeah, as I said, shout out to people for listening.
Yeah, thank you
I had 3 separate compliments from people, and it made me feel really happy. People were talking about it at my work. There's one guy who was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go listen to it, tonight after class. And I was like,
excellent.
I keep clarifying to people, I'm like, it's just us talking. It's just us having a good time. But everyone seems to actually enjoy what we're saying. I would appreciate if people kept listening.
Yeah.
Like multiple weeks in a row.
Yeah. So we're going to try to keep doing this for as long as we can.
What did someone say? Someone was like, they were like, oh yeah, when Joe Rogan started, he was pretty bad. And I was like,
probably.
I was like, am I supposed to get 1,200 episodes out? He's like,
yes.
I mean, he was like, well, I hope you do.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Well, like even Fuad, he's got like, I think between Fuad's like 3 different podcast things, he's got like
a lot.
Yeah. He's got like 100 episodes on the Real Bodybuilding podcast, I think.
Brochat has,
I think, less. But I'm not sure how many.
It's true. But I want to talk about my bulk so far.
Yes.
Mainly because I wanted to hear about yours.
Oh.
So I had this conversation actually
Mhm.
with, I'll name drop Tim. You know Tim.
Tim
Talked
Croft?
to Tim yesterday. Mainly, I just yelled at my friend while Tim was beside me because I knew he would comment. But I was
Nice.
talking about my friend who said he's bulking. I don't know if we talked about it last time or on the test podcast. But he was like, I'm like, oh, what are you eating? He's like, oh, everything. And I was like, he wouldn't tell me. He didn't know specifically how much he was eating. And Tim and I had a good little chat. It was like maybe 2 minutes about how I'm eating 4,000 calories. He's eating 44. Tim, by the way, is ex-CFL player. Is that correct?
Yeah.
He is about 6'2", large. He's like
240 or something.
He's large. Large man. He's eating 4,400.
Yeah.
Right. And if you are eating clean, it is hard. And I'm finding now that I bumped up to 4,000. It's
tough.
I have a hard time getting in carbohydrates. And I feel like I will start having shakes in the morning when I coach at 5 a.m. because I don't want to eat oatmeal. I can just drink it.
Yeah.
It is hard. I'm finding more and more that I'm force feeding and not enjoying my meals. Like at the start of the podcast when I put my food to the side because I wanted to regurgitate. It's a good word. It's hard and it's very much force feeding. The worst is pasta because I don't enjoy it. I don't like pasta. And I get nice boxes of pasta, like that big, whatever. And it's like half a box, maybe a bit more. And I'm just force feeding. It's like 10 minutes just eating pasta. I got a body comp scale, which is very cool. Realized I weighed less than I predicted.
Well, you usually weigh yourself like fully clothed at the gym, no?
I do. Fully clothed, usually a meal or two in, and I'll be like, oh, I'll take off 2 or 3 pounds. I clocked in at 153.8.
Okay. That's not too
which
bad.
Is
and you're still pretty lean.
I am according to that, 11.2% body fat today.
Well, that's not too bad.
Which is not too bad. Ideally, stay between 10 and 15. That's the goal. It is hard. I would love to go to Five Guys every day. I'm poor, if you will. I can't afford to do that. Mentally, I would not like doing that either. But eating clean food is very difficult, and I actually would love to use the podcast to document.
That's not a bad idea.
A very not bad idea. And I think that goes into my mindset today of how I didn't want to train with my friends. No, nothing against them. I just don't want to. I have better results by myself because then I can get into the mindset. And the same thing kind of goes with food.
There's that whole thing of like you don't have to train with them. Means when you're not training with someone, it means you don't have to wait or explain things to them. There's no like delay in the system that you have going on. It's just like, oh, I'm doing this now, and you just go. I also feel that, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just need to like do your own thing, and like when you have, and you, I'm sure you have different goals than the friend that you're training with. So like when the goals don't line up, it doesn't necessarily like it won't work. Alternatively, training with a friend could be good, and this brings me back to Dorian Yates, who always trained with a training partner, and during their training they would barely talk. They'd just talk about like, oh, we're putting more weight on or less weight. That's it. How many reps? Okay. And then they'd save their like small talk and banter for after the gym, or like, I don't think even before, because they were getting in the zone. And it was just that, like, they'd come in, get the work done, and then chat after. And like, I feel like for you need that, like, that zone
I can work out near people.
Yeah.
But even then, sometimes I get distracted. I had multiple times over the last week. I only kept track over the last 3 days, but I had 5 separate times where even mid-set, someone will come up and talk to me, and I have to be like, no. And I do the finger, because I always have my headphones in, and I can set it so there's no ambient sound. So they're earbuds, but they're noise canceling. So I can't hear a thing. And I don't blare, but I make the music loud. So I can see people, and every time I'm like, no. And people know at this point. It started off, they were like, oh, why are you doing that? But like, then they know, hey, don't talk to me. For instance, one person came up, I was at night, and we were planning on going on Tuesday together. We'd be at the same time on Tuesday. And I said I wasn't going to be there. This was like, what, Friday or something. They showed up at the same time I was there. And they came up, they're like, oh, I didn't know you were going to be here. And I was in the middle of a drop set. And I couldn't hear them. And I just said, just give me like 2 minutes. And I felt bad. I just ignored them. I had to go back to it. And they went off and talked to someone else. And I came up after and I apologized. I was like, I get into the zone. I apologize, but also I'm here to do a job and focus.
Well, no, I feel that. There was a moment I had to have a talk with Rachel once, and this was like back at the beginning of her fitness, like lifting journey. I was squatting and I was about to do my set, and she slapped my bum.
No.
And I had to stop. And I was like fully in the zone. I was like clipped in, like the belt was ready. I was like in the zone, that she touched my bum. And I was like completely pulled out of like whatever like hypnotic focus I was in. And it's like, Rachel, if you see the hat down, I probably was a bit like, I never yell at Rachel. I didn't yell at Rachel.
I've seen Max yell one time in the 5 years we've known each other.
And that was a terrifying moment for both of us. And maybe we'll talk about that one day.
It was pretty funny.
It wasn't funny for me. We'll talk about it later.
You yelled at me one time too.
Well, we won't talk about that time. We're not talking about that time.
Oh, that's good.
Anyways, I had to tell her like, hey, if I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. It could be potentially dangerous, and it pulls me completely out of my focus when you do this, when I'm like focused. So if I'm like just chilling, hang around, you totally come up to me and be like, hey, or like slap me in the bum, whatever. But if I'm in the zone, like hat down, like ready to rock, and you see the little look, like I don't pull me out of that.
I have 2 similar experiences if I can share. One, it was a few years ago. Same. I was within like a few weeks too. There was one time where Cole slapped me when I was going for a deadlift PR. I don't know if I asked him for it or not, but I just got so enraged by it. And I was just like,
I think you told me about this.
Yeah. He told me, I don't know if he was scared, but he told me that he did not like the face that I gave him. So I was very mad. There was another guy, he worked at the Y, the desk, so you know him, where I was going for a squat or something. He came up, he's like, oh yeah, let's go. And I didn't ask him to, and he hit me. And same thing, I racked it, and I was like, don't ever touch me. Don't do that. I've since then asked people, like when I got my deadlift PR, I had some guy hit me. I was fine with that. I knew it was coming. But I mentioned I had my friend, and I showed you the screenshot where she apologized after the fact. I was doing dips, and my friends were talking. She came over pretending to grab my ass cheeks. And I was like,
it distracts you.
It distracts you. And my main one is with squats. And you see videos of that where like someone's going for a squat and they like put a thumb in their ass or something like that. It's like, do not.
Firstly,
we have rules. We have a list of rules.
We have a list of rules. We could talk about that next week.
We can. Rule number 2, 3, I don't remember, is
I think it's 3. Do not
distract someone during their set.
Because
that's how injuries happen.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. And we don't want people.
Firstly, it's rude, but more importantly, like someone can get hurt, and that's the big thing. Like you're training at the gym to better yourself and to be healthy. You don't want to get hurt at the gym. It sucks. It sucks to be hurt.
We don't like it.
No.
I like how respectful people are too.
Yeah.
I like
even at Monster. It's impressive.
Who? What?
Even at Monster. I've been pleasantly impressed by like the etiquette that's gone down. People still don't put their weights away, but like the etiquette towards people is better.
I had that in Omega where deadlift platform, there's bumper plates over there. The metal 100-pound plates from the pit shark are over by like a squat rack or by a bench press. I'm like, what? People take the clips out of the powerlifting room and they're way out on the friggin' turf with the cardio machines. I'm like, why? Why? Please.
I remember. So you've seen how big Monster Gym is.
It's a large facility.
It's a very big facility. And so from where they've since renovated it from where the dumbbell racks used to be to the old turf is about like, I'm going to say like 50 meters ish.
It's a good walk.
It's a good walk. It'll take you like a good minute.
Jumps that whole way.
Yeah. Someone brought the 140s over to the red corner, which is no longer red, but like that corner with the really nice lighting. And I was working the floor that day and I had to roll them back because all 160 pounds of me at the time was not going to carry friggin' 280 pounds across the gym. There was no way.
At the gym that I work at, the heaviest we have are sets of 70s.
Really?
And
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and Orange Theory. It's cardio focused, right?
That's fine.
But
you don't need more.
We have a member who will, and I'll call him out on it, and I'll be like, listen, you're lazy, put them away. He'll intentionally not put them away. He's like, you get paid to do it, whatever. And it's at this point, it's fine. Like, I don't really care. It's most of the time he'll put them by the rack and just won't lift them up because he's like, I want to challenge you. And I'm like, whatever. But for let's say my coworker that she was in the year above us. She worked at the Y.
Yeah.
She's 5 foot. She's like 120 pounds. She's strong, but I don't want to see her have to struggle to carry 70. When this
also
larger man can do.
Like,
there's the alarm.
Also, like if someone can use the weight, they should be able to put it away, like a responsible adult.
Yeah.
Like, we're not maids.
Well, you work at the gym. No.
I have to go to work.
That's a big thing in my work too. So the alarm went off. We've been almost an hour and a half.
Okay, we'll wrap this up soon.
100%. People will all bring it down. Let's say class is 60 minutes, right? Do I brag or do I be like analytical?
You can do a little bit of both, I think.
Okay, so we go through like a set template every week, right? And pretty much everything is timed efforts, but you have to explain things, right? So you have 2 minutes allotted to explain this block or like whatever, and then you have to go to another group and start that. And so if you're not careful, you can go over time. So in this 60 minutes, we have to shut everything down, typically around between 54 and 56 minutes on the clock. Usually, because I've been doing it for over 2 years now, I don't worry about timing because I'm usually done. Even today, without trying, I was finishing 2 or 3 minutes ahead of that. So, and I make an effort to call people out on it. I'm like, okay, cool. We finish at 52 minutes. We wipe everything down at 54. And it's mainly people who come at 5:30 a.m. Then they'll immediately leave to go shower or just go home. And I'm like, hey, we have 4 minutes allotted to stretching. I finish so fast that we have 7. You have no reason to leave, then come in the next day about how your hamstring hurts and you have to power walk or make a modification. There are so many people who have orthopedic concerns or injuries because they do not stretch, and they make a joke out of it, and they think it's funny. And I'm like, Billy, you're 55. You wear knee sleeves to walk. You can't bend. Like, I don't know what to tell you. There's one guy, Chris. He's great. Stopped going in the morning because he wouldn't stretch. Pulled his hamstring 3 times in 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
But then he realized, because he would wake up dehydrated, no food, not warmed up, go 0 to 100. So now he'll wait until after he's done work towards the end of the day. So instead of 5 a.m., he'll go at 5 p.m. And work out, and he's warmed up. He has extra time to stretch after because he's not worried about going to work. And I love seeing things like that.
Yeah.
People got stretch. I don't know how we got this topic. I
don't know either. People not putting their weights away. Chris, Josh has called you out.
No, Chris is good.
Chris is good. Not Chris.
Billy's not
the
good.
Other guy, whoever it is.
The manager's father. Come on, man.
You've been called out. Now you gotta stretch. The internet knows now.
The internet knows.
Oh man.
That's
something that I've had to start doing as well. Stretching. I was bad at I've been bad at it. Before going to Kingston, I didn't do any mobility stuff.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't before Kingston, most of my fitness knowledge came from YouTube videos, and they'd only talk about like, hey, let's build a big chest, let's build big arms, how to get a 6-pack. And it's never like, hey, let's give you a warm-up routine that will prevent you from getting hurt. It was like,
if my session at the gym is 90 minutes, I can guarantee that 15 minutes before is mobility and 15 minutes after is stretching. It's needed. I even just on the floor doing clocks, things like that. I knew people who, once they got even towards their forehead, they could no longer keep their fingers on the ground because they had no shoulder mobility.
Oh wow!
My friends who I worked out with today, I did about 6 or 7 minutes on the Stairmaster, more just mentally to get into it, and also because I drove, so I wanted to get a good upright posture. And then I did about 10 minutes of mobility, about 5 warm-up sets, and then went into it. He was on the bike for about 5-10 minutes, talked to someone, came back, immediately started repping out 135. And I'm like, yeah. He's also coming off quad injury, micro tears, which are not fun. He's been rehabbing. So he's been doing more stretching than the average person, but even still, he would not stretch after this new mobility before, which is fine. He's doing his thing, but internally, I'm like, come on, please. It's the little things.
It's the little things, man.
And that's where, if he took steroids, he'd be on my level. No, he's way stronger than I am. He's so much stronger than I am, dude.
Oh,
but wow. There's also a 60-pound difference between us. So
oh wow.
I'd be very interested to see if we were the same weight, what it would look like.
That'd be interesting. You should calculate Wilks.
We did one time, and his sister had higher Wilks than both of us. Was she the gymnast? I think she's 5'2", and
she's very strong too.
Bro, her quads are like that.
That's impressive. I wish.
No,
I wish I had bigger quads. One day. One day I'll no longer fit into pants.
Anyways.
And on that note, I guess we'll wrap it up.
Cardigains.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Cardigains. Can't really see my cardigan because my lighting is terrible. We're working on it. I will see you next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. leave a comment, share with your friends.
Cole left a comment.
Pardon?
Cole left a comment.
Cole left a
before
comment.
the video.
Go Cole. He's the man. Check him out. He's big on TikTok. He's big on
He's
Instagram.
real big on
kinda.
TikTok.
Pardon?
He's very big on TikTok.
Yeah, he is. Anyways, comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care.